everyone. I'm John McDonald. I am the GM of Power Rangers Centurion. And here tonight, I'm doing a one-on-one with our newest Centurion Ridge Ranger, Ellie. And if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, where people can find you doing non-Power Ranger things, if you have anything like that, or what you're excited about for tonight. So yeah, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Steph. You can find me on all socials under Dandy Warhol PGH or just Dandy Warhol sometimes, depending if I got there fast enough. I'm just excited to flesh out Ellie. I've only appeared a couple times with the other Rangers, so it's fun to have a little me story.
And this story is called The Rise of Silver. So you are a little unique in this city in that the Rangers up to this point, they've been told by a couple people and the cult that lives in the sewers about something called Manu's Day. And they've realized that translates to gold. And so your silver suit is actually still a little bit of an anomaly. Um, but at a certain point, you do have the ability, once you have your morpher, to reach out to Alpha. He will be surprised to hear from you, but you do have the same ability other Rangers have, because Alpha 5 in Angel Grove is how people get their upgrades, which you also get. You will climb levels. Um, but this is really a story of you and how you joined the group and how you got to Tove's Loaves before it was burned to the ground in a conspiracy that the Rangers have just found out was actually predetermined by people that you yourself are going to find out information about tonight. We're going to do this in two parts. The first part is you will be finding your morpher at some point in this episode. And the second part, for Rise of Silver, is when you yourself are going to confront Goldar in the classic Sixth Ranger solo beatdown. I'm going to call it. It's a righteous beatdown because you're a Power Ranger, but it's still a beatdown. And everything that a Ranger does for me as a GM is about growth and learning more about who you are and becoming the next version of yourself, the better version of yourself. So even if you fail, you're always going to learn something. You're always going to become better. And so I think that's something I love specifically about your Ranger, is because you are kind of the hallmark of the Silver Ranger is a little bit iconoclastic, a little bit of an individualist, but beyond that, you're a curious person, you're investigative. That's kind of part of what you built into your character, right? Because you've got that investigative reporter kind of skill set. You're kind of curious about things. Yeah, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of where I want to start out at, is that the last time the Rangers saw you, uh, you were at Infinite Value, the warehouse store, which is Link's favorite warehouse store in the universe, of course. Um, are you still working? I mean, did you become a ranger, but you also take shifts at the warehouse store as it is? Or did you kind of give up on the warehouse store after the Tangas almost killed you with a barrel, I guess?
I think I left that job. I was like, this is too much for me right now. I need something a little calmer. So, of course, I was like, hey, we have a bread factory. That seems like it should be safe and normal. Um, Plus, it was a little hard to explain what happened to the people who were kind of under that whole spell. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I had
fair.
to get out of there. It was a little rough.
Yeah. That's fair. There are other people in Centurion experiencing the same things. A few of your coworkers are having sort of the same issues. So a few other people left with you because they just didn't feel comfortable being there anymore. It was getting too crowded during the day. Management wasn't looking out for you. There was something, though, a manager said on your way out, is that they're glad they're going to take care of the rubble of the city, is what you heard, just like a manager under their breath as you were leaving.
Great. Just that's interesting.
It's true. And what makes it more interesting is that where do you live in Centurion Ridge?
Um, I live like close to the city center, like in like an apartment building. Um,
Sure.
kind of like in a lot like a loft kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. So when you get home that evening, those words still ringing in your head, you actually you turn on the TV kind of absentmindedly, and you hear Maurice Tovelson, the evening news anchor, say something about the rebel of the city, and he says it almost the exact same way that your manager said it.
Hmm. Interesting. I'm making a note of that.
Mhm.
That
One thing, yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that because that's a little suspicious.
Yeah. What have you been in Centurion Ridge your whole life?
No, I moved here. Um, I moved here from like the Midwest. Decided to come out this way. Thought it'd be kind of cool. Kind of regretting it a little bit after, my first job turned into one of the craziest days I've ever had.
It's
But
true.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Um, it is kind of weird the way that the news anchor shed the word rebel. It almost sounded like rebel. Like he like the way that they said it was exactly the same. So I want you to do and give me a technology roll, and a technology roll is uh under your smarts, and technology is like searching for stuff, basic computer running programs. You can also major in technology, which is grid tech or engineering, but most technology roles are going to be like search engine, things like that.
Is it difficulty going to be 10?
I will let you know if the difficulty is higher than 10. Just click yes on that
Sure.
one for the thing, because it's not worth changing every time.
8.
All right, you got an 8. You didn't find any specific search results, but you did find, because the news anchor just said it, you did actually come across his like vanity page on the website for the news group, and he's actually from Angel Grove, California,
Hmm.
and you even though you've never been, even if you've only ever passed through Angel Grove, I should say Angel Grove is sort of a center of weirdness. It
Yeah, I've
seems like
heard some things.
everything that has happened has started because of something that happened in Angel Grove. It feels like.
Yeah, it feels like it's a hotbed for a lot of weird stuff going on. And I've never heard of that kind of stuff happening in my hometown where I lived before. So it has to be something really weird going on.
Yeah. One advantage of knowing this is that you know that kind of a micro celebrity like these newscasters are, because it's about the same way in the Midwest to become micro celebrity,
Mhm.
is that they'll have started some sort of entry for them at the historical society. So that's an option for you to go to learn more about him beyond his vanity page. The pictures of him on his vanity page are super unsettling, by the way. Like, he looks like he was crafted in a lab to be a mediocre, up failing white guy. So, like, there's just like nothing going on behind the eyes. It looks like he's manufacturing the emotion of joy and trust. And it's very like something in you is unsettled by this news anchor.
Yeah, I think I want to go find out more about this Uncanny Valley news anchor.
Yeah.
So I'm going to head to the Historical Society. Hopefully, I can
I,
find something
yeah.
there.
So the next day, as you're heading to the historical society, I want you to give me two alertness rolls for two separate things, and alertness is at the top of the smarts section.
All right, my first one's 11.
All right.
And the second one is 15.
Fabulous. The first one for the 11 is you notice as you're passing a flyer for some sort of golden feather contest, which is a little strange. It looks like it's like a toy shop thing, but you can't imagine kids wanting to collect golden feathers, but it is what it is. The second one that you do is the 15, which was actually more important at the moment. You notice as you're entering the historical society, above where story, curiosity, and ingenuity, the black onyx lions that guard the Centurion Ridge Historical Society. So they're just like in front of the library. You have the lions that like guard the library. They have those in front of the Historical Society. The Historical Society is a really cool building. It looks like a not a rook. It looks like the castle from a chess set. A giant castle was like plopped down, and you have to go up a whole bunch of stairs to get there. So you actually notice there is a camera that is like above the lions, but it's pointed in a way where it's pointed toward the lions, not the little pathway in front of them. It's looking specifically on them in a very weird angle.
Almost as if they're trying to make sure they're not coming alive at random times.
It's
That's
possible.
what I feel like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but again, anything is apparently possible now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen cameras pointed directly at a lion statue in front of a library or museum or anything like that. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Gonna make a note of that one.
It's given you very Ocean's 8 vibe when Debbie Ocean has that whole subplot about moving the camera just like away from the bathroom little by little. It feels like somebody has moved the camera there because it's like at such a weird down angle that it should be focused more out to like the neighborhood. And Trainer Ridge has always been a fairly safe place, but more and more recently, people have been installing security measures and cameras. It's such a weird place for it to be pointed at.
Yeah, it is weird. So I'm just gonna, like I said, make a note of it and continue into the Historical Society.
As you get to the door of the Historical Society, you get shocked just slightly by the door handle. Which isn't real metal, so it shouldn't shock you, but you get shocked a little bit by a little bit of silver lightning on your hand. It doesn't hurt, but like seeing it, your mind registers lightning, pain. So it is very strange.
Yeah, that's weird to get shocked off of not metal, but okay. That's something I've never seen before. I mean, I think I would notice if, silver lightning was coming from doorknobs, but I'm starting not to get so much surprised at weird things anymore.
Probably advisable at this day and age. So there's an older woman at the front desk. She's dyed her hair. It's slightly red. She has the nameplate in front of her says Beverly, and she looks up and she goes, "Oh, hello, dear. How can I help you today?"
I'm looking for more information about some of the news anchors here, particularly the one that was just on talking about a rebel.
Oh, that's interesting. Normally people ask about the robot, but I guess it's nice to know about the other ones. Well, dear, if you want to know anything about how long they've been in town, we have newspapers, of course. We have a genealogy room. If they've been by the historical society, we probably have a picture of them in the cafeteria. But yeah, what are you looking for specifically to do?
I just want a little bit more information about him. Um, but what is this about a robot?
Oh yeah. Oh, this was the mayor's idea last year, of course. He had a robot built, and it does like the 9 p.m. news every now and then when one of the anchors gets sick. Right? It's really neat. I've never gotten to see it in person, but it's like half a man, and they like plug it into the seat. It's really cool. If you've never seen it.
I'm not sure I have. I'm new to town, so I'm
Oh, well,
not sure
welcome,
about that one.
welcome. How long
Thank
have you been
you.
in Centurion Ridge?
Maybe like a month or so, not very long.
I really leans forward and goes, "Don't stay. I don't want to be here, but it happens. It's almost time, dear. You should get out while you still can." And then she pulls away from you and is like looking around a little bit.
Um, okay, noted.
I
Um,
think you should check the cafeteria, dear, to see if there are any recent photographs of the news anchor that may have passed through this. You should check the cafeteria. We also have a very neat roto machine that still has some classic 1950s style food in there. You look like you could use a nice meal.
sure. Where is the cafeteria from here?
Oh, it's just down the stairs here and past the children's library.
Okay, thank you. I'll head there right now. That was weird. I'm gonna head off to the cafeteria, but my spidey senses are tingling right now.
I can't imagine why. Give me a culture roll, if you please. That's going to be under smarts, and culture is all of your grid lore. If you have history or language, it's in that too. Mostly I use it for grid lore, unless the person builds a historical person.
Well, I got a 3, so that's not great.
Well, what you can do, because you got a 1 on your D20, that is considered a fumble. So basically, you gain a story point anytime you get a 1, and then you
Okay.
can either keep that story point or use one of your previous story points um, to basically reroll that. You just have to keep the second roll. The
I'm
great thing
gonna.
about, yeah.
Oh, no, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
So the great thing about this game is not only do you accrue a story point every time you're in an episode, so you'd have 3 at this point. All of the story points go into one pool, and I'm still trying to get other rangers to spend theirs. So the thing is that if you can only do one a scene, but feel free to spend, and then I'll just see which other rangers want to donate later. But you can do at least one a scene, um, and it's if you roll a D1, so you can spend one of your story points or take one from the pool.
I'll spend the one I just got, so
Great,
hopefully this will be better.
I'm sure it will be.
No, not really. It's a 7.
Well, it's a 7, but though what I intended to happen isn't going to happen necessarily. You step into the children's library, and your senses are almost like assaulted visually. The entire top half of this room is a giant mural with the history of Centurion Ridge in it, about its start as a settlement, uh, but it's a settlement that welcomed its native counterparts. It didn't take them off the land. There's an actual part of it which is about them shaking hands, which is, great. But then it looks really good. But then the longer you stand there, things in it start to change, little blocks of it, and you blink and you miss them. There's one that looks, let me make sure I get this right. There's one that looks like a war that's happening. You see one that looks like one of the houses in town that is built, seems to be on fire for a moment. There's one where it looks like a whole bunch of people got poisoned, and then a second later, they're all just standing there like expectantly. But the more you blink and look around, the more you notice there are blocks of time that things are not right.
Like things are changing, like the history's changing in front of me, kind of thing.
It changes, but then it changes back into this very like pleasant mural, but like just for a brief moment you saw some really horrifying stuff that should not be on a mural in a children's museum, but then it changed back. It was very strange.
Yeah, that's weird. I wonder who's doing that and how are they doing it, because usually murals don't change like that. So I'm gonna keep going because I don't know if I feel particularly safe with a mural that changes every time. Every time I blink.
Yeah. Luckily, you don't have to go far. It's not a huge children's library. It's big enough. There's also a little place where some college students would come if they wanted to study, but there's no college students right now. It's just you, and apparently the lady at the front desk, Beverly. But you get to the cafeteria and you are you look around. It would be a cool cafeteria if there were people inside. They do have those really old school food-o-matic machines from like the 1950s, but they've updated it. So you can go in and like spend $1 and spin the thing around to get yourself like a sandwich and some pudding and stuff like that. They have an employee of the month thing that goes back to like its founding. One of the pictures is missing. But it maybe that's the news anchor, but maybe it's also just some other person, who knows. Give me a let's see, what do I want you to roll for this? Yeah, give me an alertness roll and we'll see if you find what you're looking for. You'll also have time for a snack if you want something from the Food-O-Matic. Well recommended.
No, well, maybe in a second, but my alertness is 15.
Great. So you do not find anything about the new anchor. You do find a picture from Tove's Loaves from about 15 years ago, you'd say, and you would swear that the three of the people in the front row that are like the Tove family, you would swear one of them was like a younger version of the news anchor. It's just enough that it could be someone different, but like the other two look almost like him. So if he's not one of them, then it's like a dead ringer twin situation sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Are the names listed at the bottom, like listing out who's in the picture?
No, sadly. It's like an outside the factory sort of like, here is our employee family sort of picture, but it just happens to have the present day owners in the front, and those owners specifically, like you can tell they're if that's not one of the news anchors, you will eat your metaphorical hat.
Okay. I'll see if they have anything in the library about like the history of Tove's Loaves and who's like a little bit more about that whole history, but I guess I'll get something from the machine while I'm down here.
No, it's good. The machine is good. There's nothing evil in the machine. In spite of what people say about my GM style, not everything is going to attack you. Just most things. But you could. It's all kept fresh. It looks really good. The one thing about it is it's very lonely in here. Like this is a room meant to hold people, and when there are no people in here, you will acutely feel the loneliness of being in this space. Um, After you have your snack, you do go back out. Um, there is a new lady at the front desk, uh, and her name plate says Beverly too, and she goes, "Oh, so she's taller, African American, hair is in like a severe bun." She goes, "Oh, hello. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you at the door. Are you looking for something in particular?"
Um, Two things. I do want a little bit more information about the history of Tove's loaves. Um,
Oh yeah,
you
we've got plenty about that. Yeah, you'll want I mean, I guess if you want the family line, the genealogy room would be well. Yeah, if you're looking for a permit, we've got the mayor's office annex in the buildings. I guess you get a permit, but you can also just take their tour. Is your other option, I'd say. The tour is pretty nice. You get free bread at the end. Can't beat that.
free bread is always a good time.
Yeah.
Where's the genealogy stuff?
Oh, it's down here on the. Oh, I always get this. I always get this reverse. To the right. I mean, if I'm wrong, then it's to the left. But it's one of the two directions. You've only got the two directions.
And what happened to the other lady that was here? Her name was also Beverly?
She stops for a moment. She goes, I'm the only one that works here on these days. There's no one else here. I'm Beverly. That's me. Hi."
Hi. Okay. That's weird. It was just I might be going a little, hungry and I might be just seeing things, but I swear there was somebody else here. Older lady, I guess.
Oh
Um
yeah. Did she have like strawberry hair? Probably. I
yeah,
would
like
say
yeah,
yeah.
red.
Yeah, well, you're not the first person to talk about her. I've decided we have a ghost. I don't know how else to explain it, but you're like the second person to ask me. There was a group of kids in here earlier, a few days ago, in fact, I guess now. That they were looking around and they started talking about this other person that worked here. That I'm the only person that's worked here for like 5 years. So, well, I mean, not the only person on this particular day. Like there are other people that volunteer here, but
Okay. Great. Sorry about
yeah,
that. I'll just head to the genealogy place.
yeah, yeah. So you try to get in the genealogy room. The door does not want to open for you. Do you want to give me a might roll to see if you can grapple the genealogy room open?
Oh boy. You said might?
Yes. So might is under strength. And anytime you do a grapple, it's going to be that.
No, that was a fumble.
We're still on the same scene, but because this is a one-on-one, once you have the best shot, why don't you go ahead and you can spend another story point, and we'll have you reroll that. I want to see if you can do it, and you can only go up from here.
Okay, I will use another one of those. Hopefully that helps. I got an 8, so
You
it
got
went
an
up,
8.
but
That's better.
not.
Um,
Yeah.
I will say when you go back to the desk, uh, Beverly will look up and go, hey, you have some trouble getting the door sticks a little bit. Do you need me to unlock it for you? I can see if it was locked."
Yeah, I'm just having a little bit of trouble, that's all. I appreciate it.
No, that's fine. We had to lock a couple doors. We started having vandals coming in after the purple menace in the sky. People have gone a little off the deep end in the city, so we've had to start locking things up. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, there are some weird things going on, but I understand.
Yeah. Uh, Opportunity or history?
I'm gonna go history.
As you wish. Uh, as um, as you're going back down the hallway, you pass a row of books that have been put somewhere new. So they're in a little alcove down the hallway, and it's local history of Centurion Ridge. And there's a whole bunch of things on the cover, but one of the covers has a burning house on it. It's faced just forward enough that you can see.
I'm gonna grab that book.
I want you to give me an infiltration. An infiltration should be it's under speed infiltration.
Okay. 5.
All right.
My rolls
5.
are not good today.
Yeah, get them all out of your system. It'll be fine. So with that 5, you don't have enough time to ferret it away, but you cannot help but notice that is a very similar scene to the thing you experienced for a brief second in the mural. Now you could try to sneak it like behind your back or something, but the 5 is not going to give you much of a time to try.
I mean, I can try.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt.
All right. So Beverly screams when she opens the door. And you can see someone has been in this genealogy room and has absolutely trashed it. Everything is absolutely everywhere.
Oh my god. What happened?
What
Is there
that?
another door?
Well, no. The other door got paved over. This is an absolute nightmare. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to. I can't let you in this room. Oh dear. Sorry. You're gonna have to. This is where I want you to make a decision. Is the book important enough to you, or is grabbing like a random bit of paper um, from the genealogy room more important to you? Not knowing what you're grabbing.
My gut's saying go with the book. So I'm going to go with the book.
Then in this distraction, you don't get anything from the genealogy room, but you do get the book with the picture of the fire on it. And it was written by someone with the last name of Strawberry, which is a very fun last name for something that is such a violent cover. But that's kind of your day because it takes a bit of time to get to the Historical Society. Once you are done and outside, going past the lions, you can tell there was actually like they're a little more damaged than they looked on the way up. It was like someone was like chipping away little pieces of them, like they got into like a fight with someone. It's the weirdest thing.
That is weird. I wonder if there's a way to hack into that camera feed to see what happened.
There is, and you can try that on your own when you get home. But you can also, when you're with the main cast, ask the Blue Ranger Jules, who sometimes has like hacking things, and sometimes has her laptop fried by Ivanus.
I think I'll ask her. She seems better at technology than I might be.
Yeah, and you'll have some time to do that next time you have next time you're with the group, because you also jumping to the future, you have a CPU unit you took from Tov's Lowe's before it was exploded, so you're gaining a whole bunch of information from that. So there is an exchange of information that's really good. But yeah, so you can do that when you get home. What you garner from reading the book is that it is a book that is focused on a series of fires from 1924. The book is disputing the fact that it's arson because it's almost too many locations to be arson. There's no pattern to it. There's nothing. Instead of calling it forensics, they called it like an alienist was the name of the person that used to do this kind of work. Um, but it doesn't fit a pattern. It just seems like violence. And so this author wrote a book on local history of specifically 1924 and the series of arsons that resulted in the death of these 5 different families. And there was one family in specific where most of them, except for one daughter, passed away in a general store fire. And as you flip to the page with the general store on it, like a picture of the newspaper, the picture of the daughter, like in the door frame of the general store of Bernard Husk, it turns its head to you and it winks at you, and you notice that it's actually like Ivan Ooze in the picture.
Oh God, that's no, thank you. I'm gonna shut that book real fast and like throw it like away from me.
That's fair. That's not what Jules chose to do, but that's probably a wise idea. It doesn't get up or anything like that, but
Well,
I
that's
swear
good.
you heard laughing. You could swear that was like swear that was Ivan Ooze just like inside of a book.
So weird. I'm definitely gonna have to ask Rangers if they know what that's about from the one instance I've met them, but you know,
I mean, if anybody's gonna know, it's gonna be them. Um,
yeah.
I want you to give me, so we'll see if you can do this on your own. I'm going to have you give me that technology roll, and we're going to see if you can start hacking into the computer grid system. We'll see how you do.
Yeah, let's see how I do.
You never know.
17.
17. See, the great thing about a local computer system is that they're still using like old systems, and so actually hacking into some local cities is not difficult, which is a real problem that America has that we really need to deal with before someone starts poisoning our waterways, which is something we've been warned about for like 2 years. And this is both in-game an issue and also an issue in the real world. Like, and it's a
No,
well-known
I
issue.
know.
It's a real problem, and I'm just calling it into attention in this game, and I need people to understand it's a real problem I'm actually very panicked about. But you do start hacking in. You do eventually, because no one's really looking into historical society stuff. It's not where you find it pointed that is the issue. It's that someone has been inside of this camera information system and has taken a whole bunch of footage.
Like it's
Like
missing?
like it's missing, but there's some sort of signature going to another computer that took it. So it was someone that was like about your level of hacking, because again, not that difficult to do. Again, not to disparage, but again, it's a real problem that we're having with some of our crumbling infrastructure in America. Yeah, someone has gone in and they've taken out footage, and they haven't bothered replacing it. They've just carte blanche taken out footage and left like nothing in its place. So when you try to open up like past cameras, some of them you get an error message, and some of them are just like black boxes with nothing on it.
I wonder who took this. Is there any way to find out who took the information? Like, can I trace who took it?
There is an IP address, but it would take you longer to figure out how to do that than a basic tech roll would give you. It's just so you can put down, it's the same number. They don't even bother trying to cover their tracks enough to give themselves a different number. So that's the first part of it.
Yeah.
And this is going to become important later. So I'm not going to give you a string of numbers I'm never going to remember. Just there's a string of numbers, and it's going to make sense when you figure out what it is because it's going to tie everything together. But someone has gone in and taken footage from beneath the paws of these lions, for lack of better artistic terminology. And that
Okay.
is that's the first part of this. That's like day one. If we're doing like video game things, this was day one. So over the next few days, nothing really happens. You hear rumors about like something weird that happened at the Enchantress, but they're just like rumors from your friends of like, bro, you don't want to go to the Enchantress right now. They had like a big thing. You don't want to head there. And the Enchantress is like this indie art house movie theater that does like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And so like next month you'll be probably be fine to go and figure it out. You do start seeing kids with these weird golden feathers. And every time a kid has this golden feather, they are having an absolute meltdown tantrum. Like you go out for like donuts and coffee or like a breakfast burrito one morning, and there are these two kids in line for the breakfast burrito, and their parent looks like they have not slept, and they're like almost coming to blows over these weird golden feathers.
I mean, I remember there was some sort of flyer for a golden feather search or game, but it looks like kids like it more than I thought they would. I mean,
Yeah, this is not play fighting. Like one of these kids is like intent on violence. Like they grab a napkin, like an old school metal napkin dispenser, and like the parent just has reflexes and time, unless you're gonna swoop in. But like these kids are coming to blows. Like you start noticing it as you go places to do stuff. Even kind of younger teens, like preteens, that this because like just they don't look they just really look like plastic golden feathers. It's weird. Though I do come from the generation of pogs, like in myself personally,
yeah,
so like
no,
I
I
get
remember.
it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, even for like young people liking things that don't make sense to anyone else, this seems arbitrary. It's such a weird thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would I would say that is a little weird to like a golden plastic feather. Um, I'm gonna ask one of the parents in line with these monster children where they got the feather.
What? Oh no, you don't. If you have a kid, don't let them get one of these feathers. I don't know what this thing is. You can't get it away from them. Don't. If you have a kid, don't do it. It's not worth it. Nothing is worth this. Absolutely nothing. And like the parent like bursts into tears on the spot. Like I haven't slept for 4 days and everything is crumbling down around me. Um, Sort of like spontaneous crying jag.
Oh no, 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 no! I don't cry. It's okay. I don't have kids, but I just keep seeing all these children with golden feathers, and I don't know where they're getting them.
And the two kids like both turn to look at you, and it's not exorcist, like their heads don't spin around, but their heads turn in unison. They go, "You have a feather? I want your feather. Do you have one of the golden feathers? You have to
No,
give
I
us
don't
your
have a
feather.
golden feather.
You have
I
to."
don't
And
have one.
the kids like advance on you. Like they've gone a little feral now that they think you have a feather.
I don't have a feather. No feathers here. Allergic to birds. No feathers.
You have a feather. You have to give us. They're they're like on you right now, and they're like grabbing at like the sides of your shirt, like, and they're sticky in the way that kids are always mysteriously sticky. Like they just like blew their nose, and so it's solidified on their fingers.
Ew,
But
I
they're like
don't.
grabbing at you right now. Yeah.
I'm not gonna hit a child, but my God, I need them to get away from me.
Give me a might roll. This will not have a high DC. This is like for grappling, but you're trying to get out of this like sticky child lock. Did you want a donut or a breakfast burrito? What wheel am I ruining for you here?
Probably a donut.
Okay.
All right, I got a 1, which is a fumble.
We are on a new scene. So if you would like to use a story point, um, you can totally do that.
I will use my last story point to do so.
Well, all story points go into communal pool, so I'll just keep track of how many more you need to spend, and then I'll just
Okay.
subtract them from the overall pool next time. And it's the rate they don't spend anywhere else, so people just need to like use their points, and I'll just
Well,
keep
I
them.
got a
Okay.
17.
Good. Okay. Fabulous. You get close enough to the door that you can like get through the door, but like as you're closing the door on them gently, they don't go into like zombie mode, but in zombie movies you got like people banging on the door and they're obviously zombies and it's like very
Yeah.
unsettling. That is what has happened to these children. Like,
Oh God.
yes. And like a male person passes you with like their mailbag on the street and they hold their coffee and they go, "You said it, sister. That's what Centurion Ridge is all about." And they like chug their coffee as they're walking with their mail stuff.
Well, I guess no coffee for me this morning, but I don't want to stand outside of that store anymore. I'm going to walk away.
Like the kids'
Briskly
noses
back.
are like pressed up against the thing, so like they were like fogging up the glass like angry dogs or something like that. It was very unsettling. If I said to say, I will say you are a block away from a toy store, so you could get information if you so wish.
Yeah, I'm going to go to that toy store because I mean, they are fake golden feathers, so maybe they might know where I can get one if they don't have
Yeah,
them there themselves.
definitely. There are a couple different toy stores. The one closest to you is like a consignment secondhand, but they have like new stuff into. So the people in there, they look up expectantly and go, "If you're asking about the feathers for your nephew or your niece, we don't keep them in stock. You have to trade for them." Is that what you're asking about? And they've just got like they have like no tone left in their voice.
Well, I was going to ask about that. Do you know where I can get one or what do I need to trade for one?
I will tell you what I told the last 20 parents, godparents, aunts, and uncles. We don't know where they came from. One day, kids just started having them, and now it's all they want. We can't get them to buy anything else. We can't even get rid of these stupid tubes of gack that we got because slime was coming in and we thought people would like gack again, but we were wrong. We know it doesn't smell good. We know it smells like plastic. And sorry, we just been a long morning. Um, I technically, I mean, I'd never tell you to steal one from a child, but honestly, it does something weird to them. Like, I think the only way to trade is to trade for another feather, like I don't know, like a metal one, maybe, if that's a thing. I don't, we don't know where they came from. They just showed up one day and people started blaming us. We had nothing to do with them. Like, we don't
Yeah.
even have tracking information for them. We don't know.
Yeah, I just got mobbed by a bunch of children because I asked where they were, where the feathers came from, and they heard that word and they thought I had one, and then they started grabbing at me with their snot-covered hands, and it was just, ugh,
Yeah.
whole,
Do you
ugh.
need do you need some sanitizer? We have they hold up they have like a hand sanitizer dispenser.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So
No,
gross.
please. Yeah, so yeah, we don't they just kind of appeared like last week or they started appearing. It's weird cuz I we're good we're usually as up on trends as we can be. We were the first people to carry the OMG dolls. I don't get that either, but even that makes sense. This is just weird plastic little feathers. I don't know where they're getting
Yeah,
them from.
I don't either. I just happened to see them, and my God, they've turned children into even worse monsters than they already were.
Well, children are usually lovely within reason. Something about these feathers, it's like when old people started collecting Cabbage Patch dolls. Oof, still get creeped out by that. Still have flashbacks to that. Um, I guess if you give us your information and we find one, we'll let you know. We do have a list to let you know. There's like 10 parents currently looking for these feathers around town. But I mean, I guess the best way is probably just to take one from a kid and then hope they don't kill you. I would normally say that, but I would not put past a child to like go full Drew Barrymore and Firestarter on you if you took. I'm laughing because I'm scared. uh,
Yeah, I understand. Well, I guess I'll have to literally take candy from a baby at this point. So
it would make
I'll
sense
leave
if
my
there was candy
information.
in them. It would make sense if there's candy in them.
It would make sense. But I'll leave my information just in case somehow you find one. Um,
Yeah. We also have Furbies at half price. If you would like a Furby for your niece or your nephew, it's not great, but we're not allowed to sell Teddy Ruxpins anymore since the incident. So Furbies are the best we have.
well, I had a Furby when I was a kid, and it kind of acted possessed, so you can keep
Oh
those.
yeah, because they had internal batteries, so they never actually shut off. Yeah, no,
Yeah, it
understandable.
was great.
So as you leave the shop and the harried shopkeepers, yeah, um, these plastic golden feathers seem to be some sort of a problem. You do get an email, um, and it is an email from Tove's Loaves. You applied for them. You hadn't been actually selected for a job yet, but you are being called in for a second interview with someone called Maureen, which is neat because that sounds like the kind of name for a person that works at HR. So that sounds like a very good thing. Um, you do have a couple of days till that interview, but it sounds very nice and polite, and it's probably a very stable company to work for. It may also give you more answers about that news anchor because either he worked there or he's secretly part of that family. You have discerned that Tove's Loaves have been in Centurion Ridge for a long time. In fact, Tove's Loaves are sort of like that brand of bread we have in our universe, the Mike's bread, where it's like the people that
Mhm.
were in prison made the bread or whatever, and now it's like famous, whatever it is. I don't know the Mike's bread. People know what I'm saying when I say it's the bread. It has the bulky guy with the red shirt on it and the ponytail or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a relatively famous bread chain that originated here in Centurion Ridge. So uh, yes. So there are going to be children wherever you go. So where would you like to attempt to go to procure yourself one of these golden feathers, or is there something else that you're curious about?
Well, there's a lot of stuff I'm curious about, to be completely honest.
That's fair.
Um, just so much going on all at once.
Yeah.
I think if I'm gonna get a feather, I want it to be somewhere where I can escape quickly, just in case they do become like little fire starters and try to kill me.
Oh, you don't want a mob of children that turn into tangas? Because I definitely didn't have that planned at all.
Oh, I don't like this.
I'm going to say that you do pass a park where there are some kids having a birthday party. It is a weekday, so it's probably a cheaper rental. They look like that weird age when they should probably be in school, but they can probably get away with not being in school because they're still like adorable. But
Mhm.
I mean, probably talk your way into getting one or swipe one off a bench. Maybe still a piece of cake, even. Kids' birthday cakes are notoriously like either really great or really terrible, but it's free cake.
Do I see any feathers lying around? Um, maybe
There
one that
is maybe one that. Go ahead.
if there's one currently being unattended, or the kid's not paying attention, I would like to try to grab it and run.
Well, there are a whole bunch of kids around a pinata. This pinata is it's weird because it looks like a person in like a all pink outfit, like not a Teletubby. It looks too human to be a Teletubby. It's very strange. If you didn't know any better, you'd swear that was what the pink Power Ranger looked like, but done in a pinata form. Very strange. Um, but there is like a 1.5 year old, just old enough they still have to be like in a seat or something to be on a park bench. And they do have one of those plastic feathers in their hand, and they're waving it around a little bit. But it's.
I feel so mean doing this, but I have to figure out what these feathers are. Um, so I'm gonna grab, like, if I see like a little, you know how like branches fall down, like little sticks with leaves. I'm gonna find one of
Yeah.
those and I'm gonna switch.
I'm
At least
I'm
I
I'm
feel
not. Yeah.
something.
I'm not going to make you roll for this. Because I don't want to have to fumble it and then have you like targeted by 20 children because that won't work. But I will let you do this. I will let you do the switch out. Um, and you do get the switch out, but the moment you get one of these golden ones in your hand, uh, the sparks from your hand kind of illuminated and it turns silver in your hand.
I
Um,
turn the feather silver.
yeah, you did. Did you stay at the park? Like, did you do that? Like,
I did the switch and I started like quickly,
all right.
like
Yes,
not
that's gonna
running,
happen.
like, yeah, like don't be suspicious kind of walk kind of thing.
Yeah. So you're power walking away from your problems, as all of us do. But you do look down the next time you look down. Actually, I'm gonna give you this. Um, one half of it is silver. One half of it is that same plastic gold. It's all plastic, but one half of it is silver. One half of it is gold.
What did I do? How did I make it turn silver? This is weird.
Both sides have different numbers on them, and like little commas and little dots. It's almost like being at an IKEA. But both sides have different numbers on them. I'm not making go to IKEA. That's a different game altogether. I'd be stressed out if I had to make you go to an IKEA.
Oh, thank you. Okay. What are the numbers on the feather?
I don't have them written down because I don't know well enough to know, but after looking at them, you're 98% sure they're like geographical coordinates of some kind, just the way the numbers are stacked and where the spaces are. It feels
Mhm.
coordinate-ish.
Okay, so I'm gonna go home and get to my computer and put the coordinates in to see if I can find it on a map.
What did you do with the book?
Well, I threw it across the room, so it's still in my apartment, I guess.
Do you think it's still where you threw it at?
I hope so, but I
The
have a
answer is
feeling
no.
it's not.
It is not. It is actually do you have like a bowl where you put your keys when you get home, kind of thing, like a little shelf, maybe with like a nice little
Yeah.
plant next to it? So your plant is dead, and the book has a new cover and is currently in the pot where your dead plant was. The plant is like tilted and like blackened and shriveled next to the pot, and the book is like, and it has a new cover.
Oh my god. I'm going to grab the book and take it with me, but my first priority is finding these coordinates, and then I'm going to worry about this seemingly haunted book.
Great, good times. The book doesn't do anything to you while you hold it, but it definitely did change. Like even at a glance, the cover is there's like a hot air balloon on the cover now. It looks even grainier than previously before. This would be the place where you say nope, don't like that, if that is a catchphrase that you enjoy.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be that's a no for me, dog.
That's a no for me, dog. We're gonna catchphrase that. We're gonna put that on a T-shirt. I'm actually just gonna write that down. That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
I will make a deal with you.
Okay.
Every time you use your catchphrase organically and not forced, I will give you a story point.
Okay. I will try to remember and make it organically, but
I know that's where the
it
fun lies.
definitely it'll come out organically, I promise. It's one of those things like no.
So, are you going to look for the coordinates for the silver or the gold side first?
Well, I'm going to look for the silver one first, since that is the like little sparks that keep coming out of my hands and like
Yeah,
not shocking me, but like it's
yeah,
I keep seeing silver sparkle, so let's look at
you
the
do.
silver side first.
So the coordinates are here in Centurion Ridge, and as you get like as they go closer and closer, you get to an older industrial part of town, like not quite where Toves lives is, so not on the industrial island, just an older part of town. Now abandoned. People don't even really live in this part of town anymore because it's much closer out to the dunes than people want. Um,
Mhm.
and This is the old Hazelkin's metallurgical factory. It was like a smelting thing. It got shut down as technology advanced. But it's like it's a really old metallurgical factory. Like there's been talk for the past few years as you Google it of renovating it and turning it into like an artist place where people can do things with like the kilns and stuff that are
Mhm.
there. Um, but yeah, Hazelkins has been shut down and abandoned for a while.
Okay, well, I'm going to make a note to go there first. Um and then I'm going to look at what the gold coordinates are.
The gold coordinates. How attached are you to your laptop? Are you?
Well, I'm guessing I'm not going to be attached anymore.
Yeah. So you do find out that it's somewhere at the dunes, but closer to like not the airport, like where there are some aircraft hangars for fancy people before Gold Lightning fries your laptop.
Great. Okay. Well, I write down what I could find before my laptop crap the bed. Um
Luckily,
Not
it's not in
thrilled.
flames. It's not great, but it's like not in flames. You didn't. No
Yeah,
smoke
I mean it's
detectors were
not on
set off.
fire.
So yeah,
So
It's
I
another
am
thing you can bond
now,
with Jules about, so they're just so
yeah,
you know.
definitely. You're like, Golden Lightning ruined my laptop. So I'm now gonna look at my book that changed covers. Um,
Yes. The author is the same, by the
mhm,
way. Uh, the hot air balloons on the cover are a grainy picture from the 1884 Centurion Ridge World's Fair. And this is a book about the history of the one time Centurion Ridge hosted. It wasn't really a World's Fair. This was a part of the American life cycle where a lot of towns were having a World's Fair, but it wasn't really a
mhm,
World's Fair. It was, they were just like, Centurion Ridge wasn't a big enough city at this point to garner that kind of stuff, but it was about technological wonders. Tesla and Edison were both invited, but neither attended. Something that's really cool about the Centurion Ridge Wolves Fair, particularly, is that it was a pro abolitionist fair. And so it was about equality and tolerance and community. And so there was more of this shift in technology frees us to give human rights and dignity to all. There were like things about how do we make cleaner water, how do we make food better. Um, there's a couple of things that are eerily prescient for what you know would end up being the Great Depression, many years
mhm,
before Great Depression was even something where people were thinking about. Um, but what catches your attention is in about the same place where the fire is well documented is mayhem at the automaton arena. And there's this not quite gruesome because stuff is really veiled and not talked about. But there was an incident in this like pre-robotics um, showcase where there was an injury and 5 kids were Five Nights at Freddy'd, is all I'm going to say. And people can draw their own conclusions. It's really veiled. It's really general. Like you can tell in between the lines something real bad happened. And the last 2 chapters of the book are just black pages. You can't read anything because the pages are just black, as though there's just something that cannot be read.
mhm.
And it all starts from that incident in 1884. And I will give you this because this actually I'm gonna have you roll, then I might give it to you anyway, but I want to have you roll um how is your survival?
How is my survival?
Do you have any points in survival under smarts?
Yeah, I have D2.
Give me a survival roll. We'll see if you get this.
No, it was a 6.
That's 6. I'm gonna give it to you. Not everything is gonna be an automatic diff of 10. You're not exactly sure, but you're 95% sure that uh 1884 is 40 years before 1924, which is what the book was previously.
Mhm. Hmm. So it keeps going back in time. That's phenomenal.
The other phenomenal part is that it shows you gruesome things about the history of the town, and also
Yeah, I
apparently
mean,
Ivanhoe lives there, but or maybe doesn't. You didn't see him in this
yeah,
in
this
this
time
time.
I don't think I saw him unless I'm missing something.
No, but the final like 20 pages being completely blacked out, pretty distressing in its own way, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes me curious as to why they are black. Um That's not really normal for a history book to be completely blacked out. Well, never mind. Um,
There was that Twilight Zone episode, but that's not the important thing here. But so yeah, so that was your evening day. So really, it's up to you. What do you want to do now with the information you've learned? Do you just want to hole up in your house waiting for the book to change again and hoping it's not secretly like talking to your appliances or anything like that?
well, I don't think I'm going to leave it in my house again, but I definitely want to go check out that first set of coordinates for the silver part of my feather. And part of me kind of just wants to touch every single feather that I see. If I change them silver, will it make the kids not as insane?
Let's test that theory. As you are leaving your house to head to Hazelkin's, you come across a group of like three kids that are like yelling at each other, and they've literally got like a feather on the ground, like between the three of them, and it's like coming to blows over this feather.
So I'm just gonna like go, oh, that looks really cool, and I'm gonna touch that feather.
You touch the feather, and it doesn't change, but it does spark silver from your fingertips, and then it like leaps out of your hand.
Well, that didn't go as planned,
Also, the
but
kids turn and look at you, and all of their eyes are like this, like black, and they just look at you and they go, "Why did you touch our feather?"
looked really cool. I'm gonna go now. Now I'm
All
just
right.
gonna walk
They go.
really,
They go
really
back to
fast.
arguing. Yes, power walking through Centurion. You will have to take the bus and or bike or rent a car to get to Hazelkins because it's just not gonna. You can't. It's too big a city to like just like walk there.
Yeah, I'll take a bus. I don't have a car or a bike.
Yeah.
Buses are fine.
Uh, Yeah, you do pass by a pawn shop, Ernie's pawn shop. You've seen there's like this like powder blue van that sometimes you see around the city. The people inside the van are driving very, very quickly and a little erratically. They don't crash into the bus or anything, but you're just like, well, they must be going somewhere very quickly for some sort of pawn shop based emergency, you suppose.
Must be something really cool out there that they have to get for it. But I'm gonna shake it off and just be like, people are just weird today.
People are weird today and every day.
Every day.
Do you pull out the book uh while you're on the bus?
Yeah, I just want to see if it changed
It
again.
is it is still the hot air balloon book, and the last 20 pages are still black, unfortunately.
Great. Okay.
The bus driver is also not sure about letting you off at this stop. The bus driver goes, "Are you sure? There's nothing really around here anymore."
I'm 100% sure. Thank you, though.
All right, we won't be back for an hour. We're still getting our ranks back up after everything that's happened. So you'll have an hour to wait for us if you're really sure. Are
An
you
hour's
sure?
fine. Yeah, I'm sure.
The driver is very hesitant to let you off, but also can't think of a reason to keep you from getting off. But as you get off the bus, you can kind of tell why. I mean, you're looking up at essentially an abandoned smelting metal factory in like not quite an abandoned part of town, but a town that's seen better times to the point where people
Mhm.
haven't even tried to renovate it to make like this is something Centurion Ridge is a little known for is trying to convert things into like solar powered new kind of living spaces. The building of the Ultra Mall sort of seems out of spirits with that, because no one was actually asking for an Ultra Mall, but the Ultra Mall was also supposedly being powered by new solar technology, so maybe it's not so bad. But yeah, you were looking. There are some rotted parts of fence that you can find to go through to get through if you like. But
Yeah, I'm gonna
it looks abandoned.
Yeah, but there were coordinates on that silver part, so something has to be wanting me to come here. So I'm gonna go through those defense that I can.
That's fair. You get through it. It could use it could use a mowing of the lawn. It is very it's not tidy at all. But it does look like as you get closer to like a door of some kind, are you looking for a side door, a back door? Are you coming in the front? How do you think you'd want to get into the building?
Um, I'm gonna try a back door because I'm assuming that I'm entering from behind the building. So I'm just gonna go for the first door, which is probably a back door.
All right. I will give you a diagonal loading dock door. So it has that kind of feel. Um,
Mhm.
it is locked, but as you go to like examine the lock or like bust it in or whatever you want to do, your fingers snap silver and there's like a light that goes off on like the fourth floor that like flickers from inside the building.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna try to open the door because I now know that I need to go up to at least the fourth floor to
Fourth
find
floor.
whatever just illuminated.
Yeah. So a choice for you.
Hmm.
Now bear in mind you are not yet the Silver Ranger. Obviously, silver is sparking from your fingertips and things have happened. And you know the other people are called Power Rangers, but you don't know that about yourself yet. You don't know really what's driving you here. You don't know what you've learned. What you do know is the voice of Ivan News. You've been in town long enough that you've heard it in the sky, laughing at people. You didn't hear it at Infinite Value, but you could have sworn you heard it kind of in your boss's voice as he was talking about rebels. You don't see Ivan News, and you don't recognize the voice of the person he's talking to, but as you come around a corner, kind of hiding behind a machine, there is someone with this like golden armor and kind of these gold um, brown wings facing away from you. And then they are talking to what looks like Ivan News on a television.
Crap. Oh, I think I'm in over my head here. Hmm. I gotta be stealth about this because I don't know what that gold thing is, but I know Ivan Ooze, and I know that guy is bad news bears. So I gotta be stealthy about this because I gotta find out what's on that fourth floor because something's bringing me there. So gotta find out what it is.
All right. Um, I have these as the GM. I'm going to let you know this is that this is going to be slightly cooperative. No, so
Okay.
here's what I want to have happen because I don't
Mhm.
I'm still a new GM, so I'm still figuring out how to do this. For a one-on-one game, I'm just going to kind of explain to you. I have put you in Hazelkin's Metal Factory because there are things that are pointy. There are things that you can use to make contraptions to drop. There are things where you can create an obstacle. Basically, this part of this, in order to get you to your morpher, is you can decide to listen in to the conversation or just make your way to the fourth floor. But I have some ideas of things that I can give you. Um,
Mhm.
But you have tools in this place because Goldar doesn't know you're there. He's not looking for you. Um, but you know instinctually facing him right now is unwise.
Yeah,
It,
for sure.
but you
Um,
have the tools in this place specifically to get away, to trap him temporarily. So even if he sees you, you'll be fine. But like, I'm not TPKing you here. I'm not TPKing to resurrect you. It's not that kind of thing.
no, no,
I
no, no.
promise.
Yeah, no. I'm based off of if I was actually in like this world, my very gut is like I want to listen into the conversation, but I also want to like find something that in case I have to hit somebody to run to where I need to be, I definitely want to find like something
Yeah,
like a pipe or something. So
that's fine. So I'm going to tell you what you have here on the first floor, and you're going to see variations of this on the second and third floor. Um, you have parts of what they were working on, which were these metal wrought gates. So they're pointy, they can slash, they're very long, they look kind of like a lance. You have chains attached to metal buckets that are high up and kind of high overhead that you could let go of to drop down onto the wings of Goldar or their head. You don't know what's Goldar.
mhm.
You have stuff where it can make a noise to redirect Goldar so that Goldar will go somewhere else looking for something else. Uh, this is also a factory that dealt with aluminum, so there are actually quite a few mirror-like surfaces where you could make Goldar think he's looking at himself. And so you have different things that you can choose to do. But do you want to listen to the conversation first?
I do. I want to hear as much as I can. Um, but before I listen in, because I'd like to find something pointy, just so I can make sure I can hit something, so I can get away.
Yeah. I will give you part of a pointy wrought iron red iron thing. Yeah. I'm totally giving you like the Buffy thing. It's fine.
Yeah, no,
Because I
no, no.
want you to
I
survive
appreciate
this.
it.
No, yeah. Yeah. But trust me, I know I'm slightly sinister as a GM, but that's when the whole group is together, like you're having the same trial the other rangers had in controlled conditions with Alpha. Um,
Mhm.
but you're having it with Goldard in uncontrolled condition as a sixth ranger, essentially.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
yeah. So you come into the conversation where Ivan is talking, and Ivan says, okay, I wasn't sold exactly on this, but I can see the genius, and I think working with Zed has been really good for you, Goldar. I told you, you don't want to work just with Rita. And Goldar replies, I know, but I can't stay in Angel Grove. The smoke was getting too thick. Zed has lost control of his experiment. And I needed a break. And so I thought, why not visit one of my oldest friends? And Ivan laughs and goes, we're not friends. You take this town from me if you could, but don't. Because I have plans for this town. They're good plans. Oh, every 40 years like clockwork. We're going to find it, you know. And you are instrumental in helping to find it if you want to. And Goldar goes, well, I mean, I've kind of got a lot going on here, you know, already. I'm already helping the kids to hate the Rangers. I mean, all of those stupid little rugrats coming to my laser tag arena. It's so good. They don't even know they're being hypnotized to hate the Rangers. Oh, every time they beat up one of those stupid Ranger dummies, makes them hate the Rangers a little more. It's so good, you know? And Ivan says, well, you're welcome for the idea. I mean, you're not the only person I have working on this. You know, I have one set of my generals working on this, and I have the other set working on finding Magnus. I'm going to find it this year. And then I'm going to kill children. But first, I'm going to find it so that when I kill the children, then I don't have to, like, go into a 40-year sleep afterwards. And then I'm going to rule this city. But I have to find it first. I don't know where they hid it at, but I'm going to find it. And Goldar says, well, you could just wipe out the cult in the sewers. It's weird. They have a cult in the sewers here. And Ivan goes, no, it's I kind of like them. They're charming. They're weird. They keep people from being in the underground and realizing what it's shaped like. So I'm, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Uh, and Goldar starts laughing with Ivan, and they're laughing together very evilly. They don't sound very good laughing together because Ivan's laugh and Goldar's laugh, they actually are so disharmonic it makes you shudder a little bit. They sound like they shouldn't even be in the same time zone together, but they are. And you've learned quite a bit of information. And going back to your book, you know that your book transitioned to 40 years, which means this is something that has been happening over and over again, admittedly. You don't know for sure, but you have enough context clues now to gauge that this is, if this is something that's happened every 40 years, does that mean Goldar is part of whatever's supposed to happen, or just Ivan? And what are they looking for?
I am making notes of this because God knows that this is all very important.
Yeah, and also Ivan has generals? It's weird, right? When you think about Ivan Ooze, do you think about Ivan having generals?
Yeah, that's different. So I'm going to glean all this information and I'm going to look for any like stairs or something to get me up to the 4th floor because I'm not going to get out of here without a fight and I need whatever that is.
So I want you to give me a finesse roll, and finesse is under speed.
$17.
17. That's good. You did very well. You get up to the 2nd floor. Congratulations. If you had rolled poorly, you would have. Goldar would have been. He would have known your presence.
Yeah.
But he did not in that case, which is very good. 2nd floor is much the same as the 1st, so give me another finesse roll and we'll see how your luck goes on the 2nd floor. Before you roll, are you trading out your weapon for something else, or are you happy with your current... or do you want to set something in motion? So you can see pretty much the same thing as before. You've got the metal buckets, you've got more less pointy stuff. It's more blunt damage stuff now, but still kind of lances. You've got stuff that you could throw down.
I want to set something up. I want to see if I can like set a trap or something, just because, like I said, I have a feeling that this is going to be a fight. So anything that I can make, easy for myself.
I'm going to have you give me a survival roll to see if you can see like a pattern.
Okay. 15.
So you do see a pattern. You see kind of, it's a factory, so it's shaped like a rectangle. So you see how much distance you have to kind of the next thing. You can kind of see where Goldar is. His back is still to you. He doesn't hear you. You do hear what sounds like an owl and a jellyfish that were bred together. When you look down, Goldar has summoned these 2 gray people that were definitely not there before. And you can tell the second you see them, they don't look human. But as you're planning this, he looks at one and goes, Jeff, the Rangers are going to find out. You have to be at the front desk of Laser Dad when the Rangers find out. And Jeff replies, I mean, I thought you said I was going to double cross you when she made me. And Goldar goes, well, yes, you are, because I didn't make you, so I can't trust you. But that's what happens when you give women power. That is Goldar's thought. That's not my thought. I don't believe or
We
say
don't
that.
like Goldar.
That's Goldar's thought. He's a misogynist, as we have learned over the course of the Power Ranger podcast, especially, and nothing has changed here in Centurion for him. He talks about someone called Scorpina, and he mentions he says, "Well, Scorpina made you, and you are her creation, and I don't trust you. But considering the fate that's about to befall her, you'll do much better for me. Keeping the Rangers distracted. Get them to sign the release form. If they sign the form, their powers will fall to ooze. And who knows? Maybe Alpha hasn't figured that. What was that?
I heard this.
Yeah. Well, Goldar has no volume control, so Jeff is a little soft, but Jeff has like this surfer dialogue, so it's very distinct, and you get the impression that Jeff is not like totally evil, but you have the distinct impression that Jeff was human once, which is weird because the other kind of gray creature looks kind of vaguely human, but like if you looked at them at any direction, you'd be like, that's bad. That's real bad. That's uncanny valley bad. But Jeff is just passing enough that except for being gray, you're pretty sure they were human once. And whoever Scorpina is, made Jeff, which is an unsettling thing to think about. But while Goldar is fighting, you can set up a trap in the sky for in case he flies, or you can set up a trap like if he decides to land. And so you can do it on the railing, or you can do it. Actually, give me a culture roll.
I am not good with culture.
So I'm doing this because culture is about grid lore, and I want to see what your instincts. All right, so a 4.
Yeah.
So we're kind of hoping that like some instincts might, like maybe the silver sparkles would do like a Sailor Moon and show you what you needed to do, right? But nothing happened. So you like waited for a moment, you're like, silver sparkles. And nothing happened. So it's really up to you. So you've got some metal buckets that are suspended that you can move. There's like a little remote nearby. There's this whole gangway that you can set something on. So if he like crashes into it, it'll hurtle down or it'll hurt him.
I think I want to do it if it like if he were to like fly up. I want to do something to like.
Sure. So so I'm gonna have that happen. So you're able to move the metal buckets some, so they will cause at least a momentary problem. One of them was really heavy to move, like you had to really work the spinning wheel to move it. So there's something in it, but you have no idea what it is. Maybe it's bricks or something. Give me a finesse to see if you can get up to the 3rd floor. You are headed towards, you can tell it's a kind of a crow's nest manager's office, and there is a light on inside.
15.
You get up to the 3rd floor. Your handiwork on the 2nd floor actually looks even cooler from here.
Awesome.
The problem with is now Goldar, even though he talks kind of loudly, you can tell you're farther away from him. So anything could happen at this point. You're very close to the 4th floor, though.
Okay. Well, I know that I'm not gonna get out of here real easily. So I really need to get to that 4th floor because whatever's up there is gonna help me survive this.
It might at least give you answers. You know, survival is not out of game. You know that, but like, that's also like it's also 6th Ranger top. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do good. Do you want to set another trap, or do you just want to make a run for it?
I'm gonna set another trap before making a run for it because the more traps I have, the better.
Give me a survival roll again. We'll see how you do.
Oh crap, 5. That's not good.
5. It's harder on the third floor. There's less. Give me a culture roll.
$15. My first
15.
good culture roll.
You got a culture roll, and there is a like kind of a metallic column that has like a cherry picker thing on the other side. It lights up, and as it lights up, you instinctively move toward it, and you move just enough behind that as Goldar ascends to leave the building via the skylight he's broken, he just barely doesn't see you.
Awesome. Let's get to that 4th floor.
All right. 4th floor. The door is locked, but the wood is not very like you could give it like a little kick and you could probably do it. Do you want to do you just well let's do a kick and see.
Yeah.
So a kick in this game is a blunt weapon. So you can either do a pure might kick, or you can do a finesse kick, which is more like a taekwondo kick. You can do one. You can do either of them.
I'm gonna do finesse.
You're gonna do a taekwondo. You're gonna do like a roundhouse. Full Trini.
And that was a failure.
No, it's a 7. 7 is fine for this, but you kick down the door. So there are a few things you notice. The things in this room are much newer than the room itself. There are a couple of filing cabinets. There is a computer that, as you reach out to touch it, it's warm.
Hmm.
And there's a desk here that is new. And there's one more thing that's changed. But it's up to you if you want to figure out what it is.
Yeah, I want to figure out what it is.
The room, it doesn't erupt in silver. That's not the right word for it. The room, there's, how do I put this in a better game? So as you enter the room, it's like the holodeck on Star Trek The Next Generation, where it does like a grid pattern thing before it transforms. It doesn't transform anything new. But as you enter the room, the entire room does silver, silver, silver. And then the silver ends up in your bag or whatever you have the book in. And you open your bag to see what the hell's going on. And the book has changed again.
All right, I'm going to look at the book.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
This time, the book has the same last name, but the first name is different. But the cover of the book has the Enchantress, which is that art studio, the art film house, the Enchantress. It has a picture of it. It doesn't look as grainy as the other one, so it's definitely more recently taken. But it has the Enchantress on it. The copyright page is from 2004, and it's a book about a documentary that was made about the Enchantress at the night of the premiere, caused mass hysteria and insanity in Centurion Ridge, and 5 teens were trampled trying to get out of the building. And in the very middle of the book is a picture of the Enchantress. And I want you to decide what you see. A, B, or C?
C.
It's a picture of Ivan Ooze on the big screen in The Enchantress, and the room is on fire. Ivan Ooze does not move this time. But at the bottom of the screen, not the screen, so at the bottom, so it's the screen is up here, and then it's like taking a shot from the crow's nest. like where the light plot would be. So it's looking down on the whole of the auditorium and the seats. Just to kind of the bottom left, there's two figures. One of them is looks like a guy that's wearing pink. Another of them is this guy, but for lack of better terminology, the guy looks like gooey, like he's like made of some sort of goo. But the one in pink is trying to reach out for the one that's made of goo, and they're just kind of frozen.
Like you said, like the person is in pink or they are pink.
They're in like a pink outfit, so they've got like a pink shirt or tank top or something on. It's not weird to see guys wear pink at all, but like it's such a different thing from the rest of the photograph. Like the pink just stands out.
I want to know who that guy in pink is, but I have a feeling that I'll have to save that for another time.
But that is what it is. If you want to write that down in your notes, that might be useful to write down in your notes.
Yeah.
Because remember, you chose C. So there were two other possible outcomes, much like the movie Clue. There were other outcomes to the book that may be revealed in time. Who knows?
So he's reaching out to a purple guy, or like one that looks.
It's gooey. So the color is hard to tell. It's like the person was like if Waldo was smudged before they printed the book. But it's a person, you can tell, but the word gooey comes to your head and you don't know where it came from, but just like gooey feels like the right word for it.
Okay, definitely wrote that one down.
Yeah, gooey person is just not something you see all the time.
No.
So you've got some filing cabinets, a warm computer that looks like it's off, but it's warm, so it was on recently, and a locked desk beneath said computer.
I want to turn on the computer.
You turn on the computer and it boots up. It's one of those, and I want Teslin especially to forgive me because this is going to make you feel real old, Teslin, and I'm real sorry about this. It's one of those like older DOS programs, like it boots up to like Win 3.1 with one of the older like solitaire things on it, and it's like really old computer language, like almost COBOL era. And it is it's hard to tell who owns it, but it's definitely been used recently.
Can I see the last program used?
Last program used is, I don't know how else to say it. It's like a rudimentary software transfer from the notepad. There's a notepad program, and it's like it slowly sent information to another computer. Like it's relaying something. It's just hard to tell what you're not gonna have enough time to decode it just based on like the age of the program. But it was someone that knew what they were doing, but had an old computer in which to do it. It's very strange. This is a very strange way of doing anything covert.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try, since I can't really decode what was being sent, I'm going to see if I can unlock the desk.
Give me a finesse roll. We'll see how that goes for you.
Not very well. I got a 3.
You got a 3. You did get a 1 on your skill, so you could use the story point to re-roll that.
Okay. I mean, I don't have any more, so it'll have to be coming from the bank.
That's fine. There's plenty of points in the pool. Dear God, use them if you can. They don't spend anywhere else.
Okay, well, that helped me get a 17.
Great. So you got so you jiggle it around a little bit. First time nothing happens. Second time you're like, come on. And something pops, and there is a bottom row, um, which has a whole bunch of folders, and a top row, and there's stuff that looks like printouts, and some like stuff for the computer, but also this kind of like, well, your brain is like it's a cell phone, but it also doesn't look like a cell phone at all.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those weird, like, I guess the best way to think of it is like one of those newer cell phones where it's like they're trying to bring back the flip phone, but they like forgot the charm of the flip phone, so it folds in half, but it doesn't look right doing it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab everything in the drawer, like the papers, gonna put that in my bag, and then I'm gonna hold the thing that looks like a cell phone.
Yeah.
I wanna
See,
I wanna look at it.
so the cell phone sparks silver in your hand, and it pops open to the cell phone side, and it boots up the internet without you doing anything while you're holding it. And you actually watch as it interfaces with the computer, and it starts to show you um, video files that was the thing you couldn't decode. And it's not just video files that were the ones that were missing, um, but it's a whole bunch of video files that deal with the Power Rangers. Uh, one of the Yellow Ranger at a radio station somewhere in town. Um, one of some kind of battle the Rangers had with the Lions. Like the Lions came to life and attacked the Rangers in front of the Historical Society. But they won. I mean, they're alive. And then there's one of them in the TV station, which is a little interesting. And yeah, it just looks like someone is sending this information somewhere. Do you want to look at any of the stuff before, uh, as you put it in your bag? Are you glancing at any of the files?
Yeah, I'd like to look at some of the files.
Yeah. So these are medical files for Sabrina Tove. And these medical files are showing this history of, um, she is 14 in the most recent one, but it goes all the way back to 7 years old. And maybe even before then. You get to 7, and perhaps it even is before that. But it's like this medical documentation that, reading it, feels very personal, and it's talking about listlessness and depression and this emotionlessness. But these are all very personal medical files for Sabrina Tove, who the last name Tove is, Tove Loaves.
Yeah, I want to stop reading because it feels a little too personal, but I do make note that of the listlessness, depression, and I think you said restlessness.
Like emotional despondency, like that, like an
Oh, sorry.
emptiness sort of thing.
Emotionless. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels wrong, but I make note that it is important. So I'm gonna stop reading them just out of like
Yeah.
empathy.
It's weird that they're here, though, right? Like,
Yeah, it is
what are they
weird.
doing here, and how did they get here? Are
Yeah,
you
it is
going
weird.
to? Yeah, are you going to do anything with the filing cabinets?
I'm gonna see if I can find anything in them.
They are not locked. Uh, the filing cabinets. This information is weirder. It's information about the mayor and city council going back to the founding of the town about as far back. Like some of the stuff seems like it was stolen right out of the historical society. It's going all the way back to the founding of the town in 1804. Or at least that's as far back as the record goes. You're not sure if 1804 is the first documented year or what year was founded necessarily. You can look that up. I'm going to let you know that's public information, so you'll be able to find it. But 1804 is kind of the first records you have about the first kind of founders of the town, the King family, as it was. And it's just all the way up to the candidacy of, it looks like somebody's been following someone called Ernie for a while. You can't tell what the last name is, but like the most recent file, the most recent file is all of the stuff from Ernie's campaign, but there's a whole bunch of like red marker on it that seems to be critiquing everything that he did and all the promises he made to help make the town better. It's like that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia thing where someone made like a conspiracy board.
That's Charlie.
It's Charlie. It's a Charlie style conspiracy board, but it's for this campaign that Ernie ran, and you can't tell the last name of this because the person campaigned under the name Ernie. You can tell they were fairly young when they campaigned, so it was kind of this youth movement. And something strikes you in this about Ernie using the phrase reclamation. And the more you read, the more you're convinced Ernie was struggling with something that was happening in this town and like trying to fix historical documents or like do something for the town from the historical society. Like there was something in between these lines that you become more and more convinced has to do with the book you're holding and with Ivan, and you don't know what it's all like. The dots aren't all connected, but either somebody targeted Ernie or made something happen to Ernie that stopped his campaign, because Ernie is not the mayor, and this was a while back. So he would have been like one of the youngest mayors in the country at the time. So it would have been fairly known news if he had won. It's weird. It's like whoever lives in this place or is using this as a base is obsessive about the city council and the mayor's office. And they're also taking video of the Power Rangers throughout town. You've just moved here, so I don't know how disconcerted you are by the fact there are apparently hidden cameras everywhere in public, but there are apparently hidden cameras everywhere in public in this town, and it's easily accessible to whoever wants to know what people are doing when.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, there are obviously security cameras everywhere these days, but this is a little excessive.
Yeah.
So I kind of make notes of all this stuff. But I now know that I need to probably get out of here. Just because I can't stay here. Somebody's been here and they're probably going to come back, and I don't want to be here when they do.
So here's the thing.
Oh, no.
As you exit the door, you just see Goldar in time as he descends, and he looks real unhappy, and his eyes catches yours as he's descending. You find out he can't reascend. Apparently, he has to go down before he can come back up, which is kind of nice, but his eyes catch yours, and he bellows out, "Who are you?" And that's where we're going to end the first part of The Rise of Silver. tonight. This is the cliffhanger.
Oh gosh.
You'll be fine. I haven't killed any rangers yet. I've only put several in mortal danger and scarred John Blair like twice. So you'll be fine. But I appreciate this. I'm excited to kind of give you this information, some of which the Rangers don't even know yet. They have some clues and some ideas, but you're going to be pretty instrumental in putting together this very dark, almost revised history of Centurion Ridge and finding out where Ivan fits in all of it. As a sixth ranger, you have immense power and capacity and ingenuity, and we're going to have a really great time. And thanks everyone for tuning in to this start